I really want people to know that what Time Bomb is, yes, it does detail some of the nefarious parts of what's happening with our food in the country, but it is hopeful, and it's not a diet book.
No.
So in other words, it's not if you eat your fat levels at this point, and then you take your proteins, and then here's what you're going to do with carbs, and then here's a meal planner for 30 days. No. It's not that. It blows the lid off of what is happening through big corporations and the commercial gaming, the label gaming in this country, so that you can quickly and easily identify how to eat carefully and more cleanly. But it also deals with this whole idea that once you clean up the food stream, it has all this dominoing benefit of putting into remission things that are we've been indoctrinated to accept as hereditary or chronic, or we don't know what causes these things. Some people just deal with inflammation. Here's hydroxyzine. The point is, as you rebuild the gut, since that is where 80% of your immune system sits, we're seeing people every day now put things like Crohn's into remission.
Right.
Things like lupus, fibromyalgia, chronic pain. It is very much a message of hope.
Yeah.
So I just want to throw that out there. If you're struggling, if you're watching this program and you're struggling with things, you feel that you've exhausted everything. I've tried everything. I've been on X number of medications. I've been on this diet and that one. If you're still eating, if you're still taking part of the genocide of processed foods happening in this country, you're still unknowingly wrecking your immune system. And while it's weak, it's just sitting back allowing for all of these other issues, inflammation, autoimmune disease, and there are no pharmaceutical interventions to put that stuff into remission. There's only pharmaceutical interventions to help mask the symptoms of what we now know is a syndrome called leaky gut syndrome.
Right.
Yes.
I had to come to completely understand what that was doing to wreck my immune system before the painful bladder syndrome was in remission. Before I had all kinds of digestive issues. They would label it irritable bowel syndrome. You have an inflamed bowel. I remember being 16 years old. He doesn't remember this, and I won't go into the gruesome details. But I had a pretty scary episode in the restroom at about 16 where I had passed some blood.
Oh.
And you may not remember this, but I freaked out and ran in and got my father, who normally it was my mom. He runs in, he plays it cool because he doesn't want to alarm me, but he takes me to the doctor. And the doctor says, well, you might have had hemorrhoids. But the first step in my digestive tract, when we started seeing episodes like that, they told me that I had a nervous bowel, that it can be hereditary. These are just things that happen. And probably a lot of the people watching this program are thinking, gosh, this sounds an awful lot like stuff I've seen in my own families or maybe with myself. These can be the very first symptoms that you've compromised your gut and you've developed what is called leaky gut syndrome. Now, I'm not here to bash at all on Western medicine. I want to make that very clear. We have some dear friends that are a part of traditional, modern Western medicine. That is not my objective here. But when it comes to putting things like autoimmune disease into remission, I'm just telling you that from personal experience, in my path, it was when I got more aligned with the thinking and the principles that, frankly, are more biblical.
Yes.
That have to do with using the herbs of the land,
There you go.
treating your body as the temple.
Right.
Amen. Amen.
For years, I was told maybe take fiber.
Right.
My issues would go on and on and on and on and on. And not one time, even as I interned as a surrogate youth pastor at churches, and I would say, we need to take care of the temple, and I'm thinking things that are obvious. Don't do drugs, don't smoke, or whatever your worldview about some of the stuff we eat. But I'm thinking the obvious stuff. Okay, McDonald's maybe, but I'll still eat it. And I did. I just ate whatever I saw that I wanted. Nobody ever told me, Joe, your immune system's compromised. You're walking around with a time bomb in your system that's not sustainable. It's going to go off. And I kept eating whatever. I would binge eat Fruit Loops at 1 in the morning if I felt like it. Just the gluttony of that. Just the kind of self-absorption of that. The total lack of taking serious my temple. And really, really reading into the Bible. What does that really mean? You know, Dr. Ralph, I'd love to hear you weigh in on this because I know that you know infinitely more than I do about this. But new studies show now that neuroscientists have discovered that after 3 days of fasting, your metabolism begins to reset and restructure the immune system. Cell by cell begins to rebuild and reboot the immune system.